name is Andrew D'Amelio, and today we're going to talk about different WAN technologies. So what are some WAN technology frequently asked questions? What is frame relay? What is ATM? And what is MPLS? Some different type of WAN connection types to get started. ISDN, Integrated Services Digital Network, consisted of two levels of service. The BRI, the basic grade interface, was two 64-bit kilobyte per second B channels and a data channel of 16 kilobits per second for a total throughput of 144 kilobits per second. A primary rate interface consisting of 23 B channels and one 64 kilobit per second data channel for a throughput of 1.54 megabits per second. This was also known as a T1. Connections continued. The T1 was 23 B channels and one data channel, all 64 kilobit per second and 1.536 or 1.54 megabits per second total. T3 lines consisted of 28 T1 lines combined for 43.12 megabit per second throughput. Frame relay. Frame relay works on the theory of a fully meshed network. N times n to the minus 1 divided by 2. Here, n is the number of routers. So if we had an example of 4 routers, we would need 6 connections. So if we had an example of 1,000 routers, we would need 49,995,000 connections. As you can see, it wouldn't take long before the connections become unmanageable. That is why all WAN technologies work on the idea of shared resources. Frame relay uses some permanent connections and the rest are virtual connections. When the connection is over, the virtual switch closes, just like when we use the telephone. With permanent lease lines like T1s and T3s, we pay for the connection even when we are not using it. Frame relay is a connectionless and does not resend drop packets, relying on the end protocol to do that. This cuts down on overhead. ATM. Asynchronous transfer mode works on the data and physical layer of the OSI model. Packet sizes are fixed at 53 bytes. In frame relay, they are variable size. Much higher connection speeds than frame relay. Connection oriented and sets up the virtual connection before transmission begins. More expensive than frame relay, it was only offered on the T3 lines. MPLS, multi-protocol labeling switching, is a reliable, connection-oriented, but it is expensive. Overlays the IP destination address with a label that predetermines a route to the destination. Network trafficking control and routing. And when the packet gets to the final destination, the label is popped off and the packet delivered using the IP address. In summary, all of these technologies have their good and bad points. They are all solutions that must be bought from an internet service provider and require using private networks instead of the public internet. Think of them all as a private virtual network. Thank you for listening to this video.